fascinating discussion, so much to say, but I'm going to circle back to what Valerie said at the beginning to challenge us, which is, I'm here because I believe in these learning ecosystems, but I'm part of the so-called industrial education system, as you put it, Pavel, the traditional one. I'm in a university that's 450 years old, University of Geneva. And just to give you, one more thought is that university was created before the industrial era. It was created because of a religious prerogative at that time. So we have to remember that the system of education has many deep roots, and we can't just cut them, right? We have to recognize them and build on them. And I think what Valerie is challenging us to do is to make sure that we don't end up in an echo chamber where we sort of all agree that we should have these new systems, but we don't know, why the main existing systems would adopt them. So I'm going to say something, and I'm going to share a picture, if I may. I'm going to try to, and if it doesn't work, I'll tell you in words. So you should be seeing a picture of a family, Swiss family. So I'm based in Geneva. This is a Swiss family around the turn of the century, not the 21st century, but the 20th century. And the reason I'm showing you this is because the young boy in the middle is actually Jean Piaget. And some of you may know him as the founder of the field of education of youth, the psychology of learning for young people. He said something. He was a professor at University of Geneva for 50 years. He was also the director of the International Bureau of Education, which later became UNESCO. And he has this great quote, which I think we can all agree with, principal goal of education, creating people who can solve problems, not simply repeat the knowledge that other generations have learned. Nothing that we can disagree with here, but this is 60 years ago and things have not changed all that much. So how are we going to live up to the expectations here of joining systems? So I'm just going to shift here to a completely different context. I mean, we've talked about Africa and Russia. There's so many things happening around the world. Shifting to China. So I've worked many years in China. I've worked with my colleagues at CRI, with Tsinghua University. And you can probably see in the middle there, François Grey in the background. And we're listening here to the first results from a first ever hackathon at Tsinghua University, top university in China, about better ways for students to learn. Okay, that was the hackathon topic. And the student at the front is presenting her project from this hackathon. And the man in the white shirt is the president of Tsinghua University at that time. And the reason he's looking puzzled or a bit shocked is because the student is saying, well, our best idea is how do you replace boring teachers with information on the internet? So the project was called Tao Ke, how to skip class. So here we are at the top university in China, the best students, the crème de la crème are chosen. And the first thing that a young student thinks about is how to replace the teachers in the university. And I think there was a shock there in the room to realize how much the young people really are keen to find other ways to learn. And if there is a way to connect learning ecosystems, ultimately, I think it's through these young people and through the shock that they induce on leaders of the traditional industrial system. Now, I'm just going to give a word of warning. I mean, we've been here before. I think we all remember some years ago when everybody said MOOCs are going to change the world. They're going to destroy the traditional system. And it didn't happen. What happened actually is MOOCs essentially got co-opted by the traditional system. Universities now make good money out of MOOCs. So I'm just going to end my comments here and stop sharing so we can all see each other again, with a thought about, Valerie's challenge to us. If these learning ecosystems are going to have to make sense, they're going to have to connect with the traditional system. What is the key feature of the traditional system that keeps young people, like that young woman, in them? Well, why is she there if she's so frustrated with it? The reason is she needs credits from that university to make her way in life, right? If she gets a degree from that university by following courses, she can go forward in her life. I mean, that's why her parents wanted her to go to that university. And let's not underestimate the role of parents in all this as well. So I think that, we have to think about the credit system. These ecosystems will make sense. They'll be powerful if there is a real sense that by doing things differently, you can still earn credits, you can still achieve your goals. And credit is a very general concept here. I'm not talking about, say, ECTS credits. I'm talking about generally what people see as valuable in their digital portfolios and so on, what people who are hiring, for example, with Digital Africa, I'm sure this is an issue, what people who are hiring see as valuable in the portfolios of young people in terms of their experience. So I think this is where we need to be looking, is at the credit system that could allow us to connect and have a healthy symbiosis with the existing system.